So a few years into my marriage, it became apparent that my husband and I were not going to get pregnant. Just wasn't going to happen. So we decided rather than do a lot of medical treatments that may or may not work, I would rather take that money and adopt and know that we're coming home with a baby. I had been to Romania. I worked in some of the orphanages over there. And my sister, who I'm old enough to be her mother, is also adopted from Romania. I have a brother adopted from India. So we've had them since they were just a couple of weeks old. And I absolutely loved and adored them and knew that I would love any baby that was handed to me. Didn't have to come from my body at all. Um, so we decided to take the adoption route. And at the time, it seemed like Guatemala was the hot spot. The babies were very young. They were very healthy. They were very well cared for. There was a website called precious.org. I don't think anything like that exists anymore, but they had a photo listing of available children. Sounds kind of crazy, but they did. And that's where I found Rachel. Um, she was born November 8th. My birthday is November 9th, although she was listed as November 9th, which I thought was really cool. And I found her on December 1st. So as soon as I saw her picture, I said, please send me all the information on this baby. My paperwork is done. My background screening's done. My home study's done. My FBI stuff is done. And the adoption agency got back to me and said, well, this baby's been promised to someone else, but send us your paperwork. If you're interested, we'll try to find another child for you. The woman was going to Guatemala the next day. So I said, okay. I mean, the baby was beautiful, but I wasn't overly attached yet. So I sent in my paperwork. And a couple hours later, she had emailed me back and said, please send me the rest of your paperwork if you're interested in this baby. The other family fell through. So I'm going to Guatemala tomorrow. Please send me your paperwork as quickly as possible. So that night, we spent the whole night. I was at a surprise birthday party, actually, but I spent the whole night in the back office faxing papers back and forth. We didn't really have scanning yet. It was the early 2000s. I don't even know if we had cell phones. If we did, they couldn't scan and all that yet. So we were going back and forth scanning our paperwork, and she said, everything looks great. She's yours if you want her. And I was like, what do you mean she's mine if I want her? You mean I can apply for her? And she was like, no, we don't have any other families waiting. She's yours if you want her. Just, let me know. And I said, yes, I want her. And she said, the only thing is her birthday is November 8th, not November 9th. Do you still want her? I was like, hello? Yes. I mean, it was kind of cool that we had the same birthday, but one day apart, whatever. This was a beautiful, healthy baby. And yes, I wanted her. So the next couple of days, we, ran around getting a whole bunch of more paperwork done, stuff that they needed. And the woman said to me, you could visit her in Guatemala if you want before everything is final. And I was like, oh my God, like, do you mean for like an hour? Or no, we'll bring it to your hotel. You could stay as long as you want. Some parents stay there until the adoption's final, which unfortunately we couldn't do because we had jobs that we had to get back to. But, so I said, oh my God, okay. I said to my husband, we have a daughter in Guatemala. We have to get her out of there as soon as possible, and we're going to visit her. And everybody said, you're crazy. It's not final yet. What if it doesn't work out? You're going to be so heartbroken. But I just knew that this was the baby that God had for us. So we made our arrangements. I remember on the flight to Guatemala, being on the plane saying, God, I know this is the baby you have for me, but please confirm. Just let her smile when she sees me. Just, just a little extra confirmation. So we landed in Guatemala City, got to our hotel room, and the foster parents came over within a couple of minutes to bring it to us. Oh my God. She was a peanut. She was the most beautiful, beautiful baby. Just beautiful dimple, sweet. She was sleeping. And they put her in my arms and we chatted for a little bit. And sure enough, she woke up and she looked at me with those big, beautiful brown eyes, and just smiled. And I mean, I already knew, but then I really knew. So we spent the week with her. We had a wonderful time. We just loved her so much. There was no period of time that took us to attached to her. They handed her to us. She was our baby. We loved her, and we would do anything for her. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep going. Um, we spent the week with her. It was great. The week came to an end. We had to go home. I cried like a baby the whole time. I remember the first day being at home. The house was so quiet. And I just thought, yesterday the quiet meant you were napping peacefully. Today the quiet means you're not here. And I never hated the quiet so much. I wrote that in my journal. Anyway, I forgot to mention, when we went to visit her, she was 2 months old. That's why I wanted to go. I wanted to go while she was still so young, because I knew it would take another couple of months before she came home. They said it would be 7 to 9 months, and it was like exactly, excuse me, exactly 7 months. So we went to visit her first in February. She came home in June. We got the call. We ran to go get her. Everything went through so quickly. We got out of there early. We didn't even want to stay and visit. We were like, let's just get her home. So we had our baby. We went home, back to New York. I took off 3 months from work to stay home with her. Absolutely loved it. And I never stressed about her crying or her being up or toys being everywhere or mess, because I knew that this too shall pass. I knew, and plus I was a little older. I was in my late 30s. I knew what it was like to have her for that time we were in Guatemala, and then I knew what it was like not to have her. And I never wanted to not have her. Okay, so moving right along. She came home at 7 months. Beautiful, healthy, gorgeous, sweet. They said in Guatemala, her blood must be made of sugar. She's so sweet. Everybody loved her. She smiled at everybody that spoke to her. And she was just a good, sweet baby. Like, we take her places and people said, we don't even need to baby-proof the house. She doesn't bother with anything. She just always wanted to be with me. She'd sit, on my lap or by my feet. Anyway, so she grew up a very normal life, She had a whole family that adored her. My whole family adored her. We moved from Long Island to Florida, then back to Long Island for a little bit, and then back to Florida. But, just a very normal child, teenager, young adult. She ended up being our only child because we were just so happy. She fulfilled all of my desires to be a mother. That's all I ever wanted, was to be a mother. I had one pregnancy that was ectopic, and it became apparent that I was never going to get pregnant again. And she made me a mother. And I never, ever, ever felt like she was second best or that I missed out. I love that kid. As much as if she came from my own body. Probably even more. Maybe. I was so thankful for her. She used to joke with me when she was getting sassy as a teenager, and she'd go, I'm what you always wanted. And she was. But I used to joke back, I wanted a baby that loved me, not a snotty teenager. But she was a good girl. Anyway, she turned 20 and decided to move out of the house. She moved into the same town, She didn't move far away. But the day she moved out, I screamed and cried like a crazy person. Like, I felt like, I said, I don't know how parents do it when their kids die. I felt like she died. It was the first time she was ever not with me. We were always together. And like I said, it was the same town. It wasn't like she moved far away, but she had a job. She was a hard worker. She made good money. She paid for all her own stuff. She had a beautiful brand new car. She paid all her bills, never asked me for a penny once she started working, and even paid me rent for the couple of years that she was working, and she did still live home. So she got an adorable 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, brand new house, never lived in. We went shopping for furniture. It was exciting. Got all the stuff she needed for the house, and it was an exciting time. I was happy for her. I was sad that I didn't see her every day. But, you know, I mean, it was normal. Kids move out. She was about to turn 21. So, anyway, long story short, we lived in the same town. We saw each other regularly. I wouldn't say every single day, of course, but she would always come for family stuff, and we'd go out to dinner and stuff like that. And then the day before her accident, it was a Saturday, she called me and said, "What are you doing? Do you want to go to shopping? I want to go to Hobby Lobby. I want to get some stuff for the house." And I said, "Sure," because anytime she invited me anywhere, I was going. I always wanted to be with her. So we went shopping, went to Hobby Lobby and a couple other places, and got some pictures for our house and some throw rugs. And she said, "Ma," she was coming up on the year, was almost ready to sign her lease for the next year, and she said, "I think I was just afraid to get too much for the apartment in case it didn't work out." She said, "But now, I'm nesting, I'm staying home more, I'm cooking, saving my money." And I said, "Good, stay home. I need you to be safe." And we finished shopping that day. She got home. That night she texted me pictures. She had, mounted her pictures on the wall and put her throw rugs down. And I was so proud of her that she was happy. And I was proud that my little girl, I know it sounds crazy, but could just hang her own pictures and take care of things. Anyway, the next day was Sunday. I spoke to her that morning through text. We were talking about an upcoming fall festival that we were supposed to be going to with my nieces and nephews, her cousins, who she absolutely adored. She was like the older, cool cousin. They were like 12 or 13, and were 13 and 14 or something like that. And she would take them in the car and they go to Starbucks or go to the movies, go ice skating. Anyway, we were talking about an upcoming fall festival, and she was going to see if she can take the time off of work to go. And that was Sunday morning. I was in church, talking to my friends, saying what a great day I had with Rachel the day before, which now I feel that God gave me that day. Because I don't know. I don't remember when the last time I would have seen her in person. Maybe it was a week or so. I don't know. But God allowed me to spend that day with her the day before. And we had a nice day. So, sorry, I have to pull myself together. Sunday was just a regular day. Went on. She was working. And then she was at the bowling alley that night with some friends, watching a game, having some wings. Just doing normal, 21-year-old stuff. She had the accident October 16th. She would have been 22 November 8th. But so she was just shy of her 22nd birthday. And I would have been 60 on November 9th. We had plans to go to New York for our birthdays. We were going to go to New York together. I was going to spend time with my friends. We had some nice winery visits, and Rachel was going to come with us, and then she was going to do some stuff with her friends. But anyway, that didn't happen. But Sunday was a normal day. I went to bed Sunday night, and then 3 o'clock in the morning, the dogs went crazy. There was banging on the front door. My brother was at the house. He came barging into my room. He's like, go to the door, go to the door. And I was like, oh my God, when you get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning like that, you're already in a panic. So I went to the door and I saw the police officer there, and she said, are you so-and-so's mother? I hesitate to say the full name, and I'll tell you why in a bit. I said, yes. And she said, can you step outside for a minute? And I was like, oh my God. Now, when there's a police officer at the door at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's probably not a good thing. I was actually hoping that maybe she was arrested. That sounds crazy, but I was like, maybe she got arrested for something. I don't know. I just was hoping for anything other than what it was. So I stepped outside, and she said, is there any chance anyone else could have been driving her car tonight? And I said, was anybody else in the car? I don't know. And she said, no, ma'am. And I said, well, my daughter's Guatemalan, because I was thinking maybe she's confused because when she saw me. And she said, no, ma'am, that's not it. And now I'm going into a panic. And I get nervous even talking about it again. It still makes me it was so scary. It still makes me nervous, like it just happened. So I said, did she die? I mean, can you tell me? I was like pulling everything out of her. I'm like, did she die? She said, this is the hardest part of my job. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I go, I can't come identify her. I can't come. I can't do it. And she was like, no, ma'am. She's unidentifiable. The car hit a tree and it went up in flames. And I just was like, oh my God. I truly don't know how I didn't drop dead that night. I don't even think I cried. I don't even know what I did. I was so stunned. I just thought, Rachel, what did you do? So she said, we need dental records. And I was just like, okay. And that was it. Just 21, just shy of 22, my daughter was gone. She was still a baby to me. It went by so fast. And I felt like she came in like such a blessing in our lives and went out like a curse. Like, why did the car have to go on fire? Why did she have to die like that? Like, wouldn't it just been enough? Couldn't she just hit the tree and die? That beautiful face. Unrecognizable. Unidentifiable. It was so cruel. And so the next couple of days, was all the blur of getting dental records and police reports and people coming to the house and working on the memorial. And I mean, I never went to her house. I have to say, thank God. My friends came, my brother came, they emptied her house. I never went to her house. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even look at her stuff for like a year. Like, go through her stuff. My brother got rid of all her furniture, took care of all that for me. There's just no way. But anyway, oh, there's the baby making an appearance. Anyway, so I had such a level of anxiety after that. Like, I never knew anxiety was part of grief. I was so fearful and paranoid, and partially for good reason. So, the local papers, they do articles. It gets put on social media. And there was an article that said, 21-year-old unidentified female, killed. And there was all these, exactly what I feared, these crazy internet stalkers. Good for her. She's in hell. Screw her. Blah, 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 blah. Craziness. And I was like, I don't want to know anything. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear anything. Like, I was afraid to leave the house. I didn't want to see the car. Nothing. I didn't want to see an article. I just insulated myself. I wanted to pretend it didn't happen. I didn't do prayer cards. I just did a memorial service. We did praise and worship. Anyway, my whole family and my church was amazing, and they pulled all that together. I barely did anything, to be honest. But then on my Facebook page, which I kept private, there was like one public post of when I first went to Tennessee, and I was videotaping the area, and it was public because a lot of my friends wanted to see it. And somehow, a crazy person, internet stalker, he or she, I don't know, went onto my page. People started sending me messages right away. What's going on? They didn't even know that Rachel had died because I didn't post it anywhere. I didn't make a big announcement, nothing. They said, this person's on your page saying horrible things about Rachel. And sure enough, they were saying she's all sorts of filthy names. And that I, as her mother, was going to join her in hell. That this was not a threat. This was a promise. They knew where I lived. They posted my address. And they were going to come and kill me. So I was just like, oh my God, can there be any peace surrounding this? Bad enough I lost my daughter. I mean, we're nobody. We're not famous. Why are people coming on the internet and finding me? It must have been someone that knew her or knew me, because as I mentioned, her name was never listed. It said unidentified, 21-year-old. So that was the scary thing too. I'm like, this is someone that hates her or hates me and is just looking to really destroy me. Just not allowing me to grieve my daughter with any kind of peace. And then people were going to where the car was towed to look at her car. And somebody went there and said that they were her mother. My brother came to me and said, oh, the guy from the tow truck place said her mother was there. I go, no, her mother wasn't. I was not there. I'm never going there. I don't want to see the car. I don't know who's pretending to be her mother, but it wasn't me. And again, I'm like, oh my God, like, leave us alone, people. Leave us alone. And then her friends told me that they had gone. They took like burnt scrunchies off the door. I mean, it was just a nightmare. So I went off all social media for a year. I just went off of everything. And that's why I hesitated to even do a YouTube page. Because I'm like, I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to put my daughter out there for some crazy person to start some garbage again. But so far, so good, thank God. But after about a year, I came back on. I said, you know what? The devil's not going to scare me into a corner and scare me from living my life. I kept in touch with a lot of people on my Facebook page, and I just wasn't going to let this affect my life anymore. But anyway, so all that to say that, the next couple of weeks, I clung to God for sure. I could not afford to be mad. People said, are you mad? I couldn't be mad at God. It was too much. It was too painful. I needed him to get me through it. I couldn't afford to be mad. When I had my ectopic pregnancy in my 30s, I was mad. But this time it was too unbearable. I couldn't be mad. I needed him desperately to get me through it. Did I have questions? Yes. I said, God, what are you doing to me? Why can't I keep any of my kids? I just want to be a mother. That's all I ever wanted, was to be a mother. I never cared about a career or money or anything. I just wanted to be a mother. And I had the ectopic pregnancy, and then I had this beautiful baby, and then I lost her. I'm like, what's it all about? But, maybe I was just a conduit to make sure that she was brought up in a godly home. My whole family, my father, very godly man. Everybody, we were a praying family, godly family. Maybe God just got her into my family to make sure that she came to know him. I don't know. I don't know what her life would have been like in Guatemala. I don't know what her life would have been like with someone else. But God saw fit to send her to us. So there must have been a reason. And, I'm good with that. I used to say to her, Rach, I wish I could be the cool mom that said, hey, you're 21, yay, let's go out and party. I see so many people doing that, even friends of mine. But I'm like, but I got to be the mom that makes sure that you get to where you need to go. God forbid something ever happens. And that year that she moved out, God had me praying for her so intensely. I know he was preparing me and preparing her. I prayed scripture over her. I prayed blessing over her. I prayed Psalm 91. Like, I wasn't just like, oh, be with Rachel. I was like, warfare prayers for her protection. And she used to call me and say, Mom, could you pray for me? Which was, beautiful. Can you pray for me? There's drama at work. Or can you pray for me? My anxiety's high today. Can you meet me at the beach and we'll pray? That was, I didn't really have much of any other indication that she was living for the Lord, and then I did find some scriptures that she had written down in a notebook after she was gone, but God gave me that to encourage me. So, I don't know what the lesson is for me. Everybody said, well, God's going to take your pain. You're going to help other people. And I said, I don't want to help other people. I want my daughter. But if that's what God's going to do and that's what this channel is about, I'm good with that. Because fast forward 2 years later, like I used to say, if anything ever happened to my daughter, I will be laying in a corner of a room in a fetal position, heavily medicated, sucking my thumb for the rest of my life. And I really felt that my life would be over because she was my whole life. Good, bad, or indifferent, whatever people want to say, she was my whole life. But here I am. I'm not medicated at all. I was in the beginning, and that's okay. I went to the doctor and I said, make it go away, make it go away. I just can't take it. Whatever. And I was on some medication. But I'm not on anything now. And I say that to say, like I always say, God did it. He got me through it. He's given me a life now that I never dreamed I'd be living. I never thought I'd be in a tiny home in Tennessee. Semi-retired, ready to travel. And I know that my daughter is safe. And I'm thankful for that. I mean, it's weird to me that she's not here. I wish she was. But then again, no. I wouldn't want her to come back to this crazy world. I wouldn't want her to come back to the struggles of this world. But it's weird. I miss her. I still can't believe it. I woke up last night just crying hysterical because every once in a while it just hits me so weird, like she's gone. It went by so fast. But I'm just here to say that God can get you through the most horrific. To me, there's nothing worse than losing a child. Nothing. And to me, the way she died was horrible, that she burned in that car. I believe she was gone as soon as she hit that tree. Thank God. But I still hated the thought of her body just burning in that car in the middle of the night in the woods. And it was a road that she took home every night. It wasn't even late. She left before midnight. She was pronounced dead at 12:15, and the cops came to my door at 3 a.m. I mean, it was a road she took home every night. I don't know what happened that night. I don't know if an animal ran out in front of her, if she was texting on her phone, which could have been likely, and she got distracted. I don't know. It just happened right in our town. She wasn't far from home. I don't know. But I'll know one day, I guess. So, okay, I've taken up a lot of your time. If you stuck with me this long, thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging in there. And I just want to say that the whole purpose in telling this story was, yes, it's devastating. It's horrible. It's sad. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to me, in my opinion. And it's just not something that you get over, but you can grieve and move on, which I'm learning. It's weird. But God can do exceedingly abundantly all we can ever ask, think, or imagine. And He has gotten me through it. And I am coming out the other side. And I hope that this channel, as much as it's about tiny homes, is also about encouragement. That God will do it. He'll do what He promised. You know, we just cling to Him and take Him at His word. And, you know, one day we're all getting out of here. So, and after this, I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing that anybody could throw at me now that would throw me off track or make me lose faith in God. There's nothing. So, anyway, I hope this wasn't all over the place. I feel like it kind of was, but thank you for sticking in there. Also, I want to say, everybody in the comments is so unbelievably kind. And that's what I love about this YouTube channel, too. I want my community to be that way. As much as people say I'm encouraging them, they're encouraging me with their kindness and their condolences and their encouragement. You guys are the best. So I do thank you for that. And I hope this community will continue to grow and that we'll just continue to encourage and support each other. That's really what this is all about. It's for me to share my story. And there'll be fun things too. There'll be tiny house tours. There'll be trips. There'll be all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, the algorithm will have to figure it out because my channel's going to be a little bit about everything. So that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I appreciate you all so much, more than you know. I pray for everybody. I do pray for the people that are on this channel. I pray that God would bless you and protect you with every spiritual blessing. And I thank you for your support. All right. That's all for now. I'll see you guys in the next video, as they say. Bye-bye.